Is this thing on? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Summits Podcast. As you can see, we are once again on location, at an undisclosed location, that is. But here in Indy, kind of a bittersweet moment. So our guest today is Chuck Pagano, and this is his last official day as a Hoosier resident, moving out west off into greener pastures of retirement, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Welcome to the Summits Podcast, Mr. Pagano.
Thank you. It's great to obviously be with you guys, and it is kind of bittersweet and see my last day as a Hoosier, but I'll always bleed blue and I'll always be a Hoosier. Obviously have a great connection, with this city and this community, so we'll always be Hoosiers.
Awesome. Daniel's joining us back, so it's good to have you back as well.
I'm back.
We'll have some pending big news with him here. Not too long.
Yeah, countdown begins. Baby Watch 2021. Two times.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah. I got a boy and a girl too, so I'm kind of feeling to be done at that point.
You gonna be done?
I hope so. My wife might have other words to say about that, but we'll see.
We'll see how the labor goes and all that stuff. It could be like, like my wife.
Yeah.
We had our third daughter, and it was like, well, Tori just was born, and we got 2 minutes later, we got to go again. And she's like, She had some choice words for me. I asked at the wrong time, so.
Yeah.
I was seeing a doctor 2 weeks later, and that was that.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Thank you. I'll need it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I thought when I start this episode out, a lot of people are familiar with your tenure in the NFL, but let's go back to the early years. Let's go back to young Charles David Pagano in Colorado. If you would kind of tell us where you're from, what life was like growing up.
Yeah, born and raised in Boulder, Colorado. Football family. Dad was a high school coach, so we were talking earlier about picking up jocks and socks and towels and stuff like that. So that's how I grew up, ball boy. Played for my dad in high school. Went to college just up the road, University of Wyoming. Far enough away where I felt like I was at college.
Yep.
Far enough away from the family, but you figure out real quick once you leave how much you love your parents and how much you miss your family and how much you need them. So it was close enough to where if I needed to get home, I could get home and they could get to me and see me play. So went to school there and then started my coaching career as a graduate assistant at Southern Cal, 84, 85. Went down to Miami in 86 under Jimmy Johnson, my first stop at the University of Miami. And then I got my first full-time coaching job, Boise State, in 1987. I was there 2 years. I met Tina, my wife, in 88. We got married in 89. Dated 2 months. And I left, went to East Carolina after my second season in Boise. And she came for spring break. I put her on a plane, sent her home that night, called her, see if she got home all right, asked her over the phone if she'd marry me. She said, yeah. Called her dad from high school the next morning and asked. He hung up on me. He says, you kids don't even know each other. But anyway, luckily, 32 years later, it's all worked out. But so East Carolina, 89, Vegas, 90, 91, back to ECU, 92 through 94.
Okay.
Down to Miami again with Butch Davis, 95 to 2000. And so that was kind of my college career. I think that was 17, 18 years, whatever. I was never really good at math. Not a lot of subjects, for that matter. Fourth grade was like the longest 3 years of my life. But anyway, so then I left Miami and went to Cleveland Browns with Butch. He got the head job there in 2001.
Okay.
So there, 4 years, we got fired there. Went to the Raiders for 2 years. Back to college with Butch, UNC for a year, North Carolina, 2007. Tina was like, because Oakland was Oakland. It's like it was amazing because Mr. Davis was still alive, and I learned so much football in a short period of time under him. Very, very grateful for that experience. But we didn't have a home. We were like transit. We were this, that, and the other. And she's like, can we go back to college? This is crazy. Let's go back with Butch. Have a home. I need a home. I want a family life again. All this stuff, right? She remembered all these great years in college. So we go, yeah, sure. Go to UNC. 6 months, I haven't seen her. Recruiting, academics, the football, the job, all that stuff.
Yeah.
She pulls me aside and she's like, can we get back in the NFL? Can you please make up your mind? Because when you have your vacation time in the National Football League, when summer comes right before training camp, after OTAs and such, I mean, you really can unplug, turn your phone off, and disappear for a month.
Right.
At college, it isn't like that. And so she's like, can we get back in? I was fortunate enough where John Harbaugh got the Ravens job, Baltimore job in 2008 and hired me there. So I went there for 4 years, my last year as a coordinator, and then stars lined up just right and landed here in Indy.
Right. Well, we were excited to have you, that's for sure. And looking back on it now, I don't know that and that doesn't matter what I write, but I couldn't have written a better script for sure. I think you're, now that I've gotten to know you as a person, I think you fit the Colts mold very well.
Appreciate that.
I don't know about
Yeah.
what your thoughts are.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, if you ask me, I'm not the biggest sports guy outside of golf, but I mean, I remember, I was in high school and things like that, and all my buddies and everybody, just everything about you, everybody loved that you had landed in Indy, and that kind of actually got me more, involved in watching the Colts and things like that. So I have Udo for that, and some stroke of that, and friends and family and things like that. So it's cool to.
You were like
That's awesome.
15 at the
Appreciate
time?
it.
Yeah, I was like 15,
Yeah,
12, 11, I don't know, somewhere in there.
Well, what most people don't realize, Chuck and I actually have a few things in common. I actually wrote down a quick list here so I can remember it all. So both very competitive individuals, for better and worse. We're both fathers of 3 daughters. Chuck's birthday happens to be the same day as my twin's birthday.
Okay.
We're both connected to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He used to be his coach. I get mistaken identity for him all the time. And then, coincidentally, we have the same oncologist, and obviously we are both cancer survivors. So to that end, and going along the theme of the Summits podcast, Chuck, if you would, what is your cancer story?
So hired to be the head coach here in Indy, 2012. Not here 5-6 months. Open the season up, go through training camp. Go to Chicago, our first game. They beat the brakes off of us. Not a great start to my career here in Indy. And then I started noticing some bruising going on in my body. The fatigue was the fatigue. It's just football and training camp and the stress of all that stuff. So, but these bruises were showing up and they weren't going away. And there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'd come home and Tina's like, "So are you actually showing these guys physically how to tackle and do some things? Is that how you're getting these bruises and things?" And I said, "No, I don't." And so, the
Did they
Jacks
hurt at all?
No, they were just deep purple.
Right.
I mean, and not bumped into anything, just showing up. So we played Jacksonville third week of the season.
Right.
Came back, beat Minnesota at home. Andrew, fourth quarter drive, end up, driving us down the field with less than a minute on the clock. Adam hit a field goal and we won 23-20. Then we had Jacksonville beat at the end. Andrew took us down. We went up by 5. There's like 52 seconds left on the clock. We kick off, touchback, and Blaine Gabbert hits Cecil Shorts on a skinny post. The first play, 80 yards, touchdown, we lose. Go in the locker room, take you back. And I don't want to make this a long,
Sure.
But I'll give you the short version. But I went in the training room, I was at the facility or the stadium a couple hours before, kickoff. So I went and saw the docs, and I showed them the bruising. I said, "Any concern, whatever." So we had to bye the next week. So Doug Robertson and the trainer, Hammer, and those guys like, we'll do some blood work, next week. It's our bye week. We'll have a chance. We'll check it out. And so we lose that game, go in the locker room. I said a few words. to the team. And then Robert Mathis called us up, and he said, hey, we'll go in tomorrow, we'll look at the tape, we'll man up, there's no pity parties in football, and then we'll move on. And so then, Monday we come in, Tuesday you practice, Wednesday you practice, then you got to give everybody, because the bye week, they get 4 days off. So the coaches are gone, players are gone, there's nobody left in the building. I'm still there. Tuesday, they came in, took some blood. And then everybody's out Tuesday night, and I get a phone call from Doc Robertson. And he said, something's off with your blood work. We made you an appointment. Go see an oncologist down at Simon, now Comprehensive Cancer Center. Mm. And I'm like, huh? Really? James Betcher, who was my assistant at the time, was the only other guy in the building. So he's the only guy that knew. I didn't even tell my wife. And so he says, we'll go through, we had picture day on Wednesday, team picture, practice. Everybody left. And then so Hammer came down and said, are you ready? You got your ride? And I said, I'm just going to, he goes, you told your Tina, right? I said, no. I didn't want to scare her.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to, because I didn't think, I said, there's no way. When you hear that, it's like somebody else, but not me. Not right now.
Yeah.
So he goes, no, you got to call her. So I called her. She came down, and she's just like, huh? I go, yeah. So it was just the longest, quietest ride from the facility down to Simon.
Right.
Get in there, Dr. Kripe pulls me in. Obviously, we hold him in such high regard, and he was so awesome. And he's just like, hey, from your blood work, I'm 99% sure you have APL. It's a form of leukemia. We're going to do a bone marrow biopsy here just to make sure. And it's like, it's like getting hit over the head.
Right, yeah.
With a 2x4. And I just looked at Tina, and we had that moment that you have, and it's like, okay, what's the game plan?
Right.
What are my chances? What do I got? What are the numbers? All that stuff, all those things that are going through your head.
Yeah. Now, I will say, one of the things I think that we found refreshing about Larry, and I would think the same for you, is all those questions just popped in your head. He had the answer right then and there. It wasn't, I'll get back to you. It was, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start right now. If you say go, we're ready to go. And
no, it was clean. There was no gray.
Yep.
Because he started explaining all that stuff, and I'm thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about Tina. I'm thinking about my parents and and the team, and so many things, right? And Tina's the one that's trying to absorb and listen to all this stuff. And you're right. It was not. I was like, okay, so I don't have any stuff with me. Can I go home, get my whatever I need? Because he said you're going to be here for at least a month.
Okay.
Maybe a little less, depending on how things go. And so he goes, no, Tina will go downstairs, get you admitted. That's when she admitted me as The Rock. So I don't know if we were going to get in there, Dwayne Johnson, and because we didn't want it to get out, because everybody was gone, and they wanted to wait till at least Monday when the team was back and all that stuff. Okay. But she went down, admitted me, went home, got stuff for the hospital, and I went right down to the ER, as you probably know. Put on a table, put a PICC line in my arm. Next thing I knew, I was in a room. Next thing I knew, I had the pole with all the bags, of chemo and steroids and antibiotics and whatever, start pumping in you. And it's like surreal. Yeah. It was a whirlwind. It happened so damn fast. It's just like, holy crap. And that's when the nurses walked in. So, Mr. Johnson. And I'm in shock already anyway. I'm like, come on, you got to be kidding me, right? You got the wrong room. No, do you want us to call you Mr. Johnson, Dwayne, or The Rock? We had a little chuckle. I said, what are you talking about? Here's my wristband. And so then they told me, later on why Tina admitted me under The Rock. And
that's pretty funny.
That's awesome. But they brought, at least, as you know, those caregivers and those nurses and everybody in that hospital are just phenomenal and make a really bad situation, bring light to it best they can, and uplifting and encouraging and all that stuff. So, it happened. It happened awful fast, but right place, right time. As you know, Dr. Kripe, off the charts, all-star, best. And I got the best care, that you could receive. So I was very lucky.
Yeah. So to that point, we talk about this often. We're blessed. We're lucky. We're very fortunate. We know that there are plenty of people who get diagnosed with cancer that unfortunately aren't here to tell us the same story. What we talk about this often with other guests of ours. We talk about attitude. What would you, I guess, two-part question. What would you say, what aspect of attitude was important for you? And then if you were talking to someone who was newly diagnosed, what words of wisdom would you provide to them?
Yeah, so like anything else, I just went back to my playing days, my coaching days, mindset, process. So I was given a game plan. I knew what that was. I was told, okay, how day 1 was going to be and how day 10 might be and day 15 and all that stuff. But to me, it was a mindset. Mm-hmm. And then I talked about living in vision, and I got a vision, and that vision was that I was going to beat cancer. I was going to be around for a long time for my wife and kids. I was going to get back to this team. We were going to hoist a Lombardi. I was going to walk 2 more daughters down the aisle, dance at their weddings, and it was going to end. And so to me, it's mindset. And as you know, everybody that reached out to you and supported you and encouraged you during your battle,
right.
I was so fortunate to have that same encouragement from so many, and now we have an opportunity to give back. And so many people, I mean, it touches everybody, unfortunately. And like you said, we wear wristbands and things as reminders of, how grateful and thankful and lucky, we are, but also why we do what we do, for cancer research and stuff, and to give back so that we don't have to say goodbye, to loved ones too soon. But it's a mindset, and you got to have a faith and a belief that you're going to kick cancer's ass.
Right.
Regardless. And there's going to be some tough days and some really shitty days in that bed and going through chemo and sweats and stuff like that. And, but it was a mindset, and it was a faith, a strong faith, great support again from your family, but, a belief that you're going to win this battle,
right.
And no matter what, I ain't never giving up.
Yep.
I am going to fight and fight and fight.
Agreed. I think the competitive aspect of us is what has continued to drive us to do something about it, even beyond. So we know that, again, we're fortunate, but others are not so much, and there's still a lot of work to do. And so what can we do now then to give back, to help move the ball forward, if you will, to allow more people to experience what we've experienced? And so I appreciate you for putting forth that effort. It'd be very easy for us to sit back and say, well, okay, I made it and I'm good, and not do anything, but just not the way we're wired. Appreciate
you the same way, and again, we are blessed and fortunate, and I made a vow, a long time ago that, if I came out of this thing on the right side, that, Tina and I, as long as I was on the right side of the dirt, that we would do whatever we could do. Yep. To help raise, awareness and be advocates for cancer research and stuff like that, and help these, every dollar we raise goes to, every penny we raise goes to cancer research down at IU Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center. And so I was just blown away, like you were blown away with the support. Right. And how generous and how good people are. There's a lot of bad things going on, but when you go through something like this, you find out just how good people are. Like this community here, this state, this city, it's unbelievable. So it was like, okay, you're right. We just can't walk away and say, hey, ho hum, we beat cancer, we're survivors, and not do anything else to help, somebody else. So I know you feel grateful and thankful, for having that opportunity. I feel the same way. So. It's the right thing to do.
Correct.
I always talked about, team with the Colts and everywhere I've been as a coach, and it was always team first, self second, and serve. So I think we were put, on this planet to give back and serve and help others. So I feel blessed that I'm still around to do that.
Right. And we also know it takes a team to beat cancer. And so, whatever we can do to help assemble that team and motivate that team, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, no question about it.
So tomorrow, jumping in the U-Haul, riding off out west. Tell us, what does retirement look like?
I tell you what, I always tell my buddies, I say I wake up in the middle of the night, but isn't stressing over football. And they go, yeah, we kind of have an idea probably why you're waking up in the middle of the night. But that's another story. No, no U-Haul. The U-Haul was the last trip. That was a month ago. That one wasn't fun.
Is there a photo
but Tina
of you driving the U-Haul?
Tina and I in that U-Haul, and 18 hours to Laramie we stopped, and then another 10 to Boise. That was a grind. So tomorrow's the last. We got to drive her car out. Tomorrow's the last one. We'll get in the car and make the final trip. But retirement is, my whole family is in Boise now. All 3 daughters, my 3 granddaughters, my grandson. So extremely blessed to have everybody in one spot. Tina's from there, so all her siblings are there. My family, parents and stuff are there. Most of them are in Colorado. They're close in Boulder. So being out west, having my family, they sacrificed. I told Tina, they sacrificed so much for 36 years, however long I coached. We all know that, they talk about what a grind it is for the coaches and the players, but the families, this was our 12th or 13th move. Come on, really? Do that to anybody? That's egregious. But hopefully this will be kind of the last one, But they sacrifice so much. Now, we have an opportunity, spend all this time together now and do a lot of the stuff that I missed a lot of stuff. I missed a lot of things with my daughters growing up. And, Tina raised them, practically by herself, and probably a good thing that I wasn't around much. But, they turned out pretty damn good. But it's, I've got to find some hobbies. We have our time. We get up in the mornings, and she kind of goes to her corner of the house, and I go to my corner of the house. We have our coffee, and she checks her stuff, and I check my stuff. And, I'm looking at the clock. It's only 10, it's morning. Okay, now what? Okay, get a workout and get on the Peloton, get some little, dumbbells and try to fight gravity. Then you got any errands for me? How many errands? Hopefully she's got a laundry list so I can go to the cleaners, I can go to the grocery store, I can go here, chew up another couple hours, and then hopefully get a tea time, play some golf. She loves to play, so we spend a lot of time on a golf course together and family time.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
So it's good. I'm blessed.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time out. I know it's kind of a crazy day. We got some stuff going on tonight, trying to raise some more money for research. I hope the next time we get to catch up is on the golf course.
Me
Perhaps
too.
Coeur d'Alene, I think I heard. So let's see if we can make that happen.
You get out there.
All right.
We'll meet up there.
Perfect.
And we'll have a great round. We'll put some cash on it. See if we can hit that Island Green. I heard it's a really special place. So that'd be awesome.
All right.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you, Daniel.
for being here.
All right.
Appreciate it, Vince.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you're aware of new episodes coming out. Thanks for watching.